Here's how to tell if your electronics are safe abroad. This is one of the most misunderstood travel topics ever. It was very confusing to me for a long time, but once I tried my second travel steamer, I decided to learn real quick. The biggest thing I see people mixing up are converters and adapters. I'm actually not even sure if this is a real converter because I got rid of them all, but they look more like this than they do like this. These are not the same things. This is how we fry hair tools and steamers, electric toothbrushes. Thanks to my electrical engineer of a husband, I learned that voltage is what pushes the electrons around the circuit. So the easiest way to think of voltage is like electrical pressure. So think of water pressure. Some countries blast more power through their outlets than others. In the US, we use 110 to 120 volts. Europe, I believe, uses 220 to 240. UK, Australia, Middle East, they all use around like 220, 230 volts. I recently learned from my trip to Japan that they are 100 volts. Either way, your devices care about how much power is being fed to it. The shapes of the plug themselves have nothing to do with the voltage or anything like that. This is where adapters come in. The only thing an adapter does is just changes the shape of the plug. This one, for example, we can turn into Europe. There's no converting going on in here except for the plug shape. Most of these are pretty cheap. They're lightweight. They're easy to find. They have all different ones that have USB plugins. Converters are a lot bulkier and heavier and pretty unreliable. Now, finding travel products that are dual voltage is very important. Most of your devices will say somewhere on the product what the voltage is. If you see input of 100 to 240, that usually means that it's universal voltage. And most travel products or hair products will advertise that they are dual voltage. If you don't see that, my Dyson, my Shark, all of those are not dual voltage. You don't need a converter for anything that's dual voltage. The only thing you need is the adapter piece to change the plug shape. Most iPhones, iPads, non-motorized hair products, a lot of them are dual voltage, so you don't have to worry about it. The cables themselves don't really matter at all. They're just the messenger. That said though, cheap cables can fail and fry your equipment. Hair tools become the biggest problem because they use a lot of power, and most travel converters are just not designed to handle sustained high heat for a long time. Sometimes using a converter for a dual voltage device can actually do more harm than good because you're unnecessarily now altering power where it doesn't need to be altered. And dual voltage means that it can do the conversion by itself. It doesn't need you to help it alter. People do end up buying converters to take their hair products abroad, but I would just not recommend it. Heated brushes a lot of times are dual voltage. Curling irons are usually dual voltage. Anything without a motor is usually dual voltage. Even if it technically works, your blow dryer may feel weaker. The curling iron might not get as hot. It's not as clean and seamless as you would hope that it would be. Just avoid converters altogether. And I always used to wonder why more brands didn't make dual voltage items, especially like expensive brands like Dyson, but it's just hard to maintain heat consistency across dual voltages. So hopefully someday we'll see innovation there, but for the most part, I would just recommend looking for dual voltage devices when you're traveling. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Don't fry your shit. Bye.